The eastern sounds of Scapa Flow are behind us, and the port is wide open. Welcome to the bridge, Warco. We are now inside of Scapa Flow, and we have to be careful because there are destroyers prowling in the waters out here. Those are not really prowling so much as stationary, anchored, but we still have to be very careful. Now I'm going to quickly go to external camera so you can see that we are currently decks awash. So this is one way to reduce your profile. Just keep almost everything underwater, but we can still use our diesel engine, which gives us a little bit more time. You can see our batteries fully charged, ready to go. Now that's about to stop because if I go into my map view, we're getting a little too close for comfort in my opinion. Just the ranging on this, according to this, is, you know, like 4 or 5 kilometers. It's not perfectly dark out yet. You can see that there's somewhat. We have the moon out. There's decent visibility. I think we'll go down to probably like 4. We'll try to dive before 4 kilometers, but at 4 kilometers or so, so here's our range, 4 kilometers or so, we will probably go to periscope depth at that point and be using the scope only from then on. That is... Okay, so that being said, I want to catch people up probably in the time before we go to periscope depth, just briefly, because I wanted to make it abundantly clear in the last video that if you didn't watch... if you didn't watch the last video, that's totally okay. It was just the stealthy approach, which I'll quickly recap here. First of all, we sank that ship. I had to use another stern torpedo. Proceeded overnight to start traveling here. During the day, positioned ourselves outside the Orkney Islands, which means outside of Scapa Flow as well. Went west and proceeded towards the eastern sounds. Caught a patrol over here. I identified how, I talked about my patrol monitoring skills, etc., etc. Just to make sure this guy's still stationary. In fact, we'll probably just go to periscope depth in a second, but let me see if I can squeeze out the fact that we skirted by another patrol, just went up and around, and then this is actually our path through the eastern sounds. Around this point, I'm actually going to use external camera just briefly in a manner just so you can see what we went through. We had to bypass some block ships, which was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Like, this is actually modeled in. You have to... And this is the hole in the area that the U-47, Gunther Preen himself, actually also took advantage of. Now, this is not exactly what it looked like because his way of passing through was different than ours. In fact, I think that he went through these two on his voyage in, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So... and for us, it's very clear that the passage should be through the middle, but that was not the path actually Gunther Preen took both times. Alright, so let's go ahead and do external camera one more time, and let's see ourselves go down to periscope depth. Hopefully at this point, basically, we have enough battery and enough air to survive for, hopefully like 3 hours or so as we putz around to the actual port area and see if there's any big ships lying in wait for us. So, clear the bridge, exec, periscope depth.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Seerohrtiefe.
Bridge is clear. Slowly slip under the waves. I'm going to get our observation scope up preemptively. Actually, I probably want to see how deep the water is, and I'm going to continue to use the trick which helped me to spot for mines all the way in, which, in case you missed the last episode, there were none. So around the time that our flagpole and our observation scope was underwater, we'll switch over to observation scope. Could probably drop this down. Nope, we're actually right at the limit of visibility. And it is impossible to see anything under the waves now, which is actually a good sign. It shows me that, in fact, we are very deep in night. So despite the fact that you can see things really well, I think that's just the game being a little lenient on us. Yeah, we really can't see anything. And it's good that we at least cannot see any mines. Maybe it's more visible than I thought. Periscope depth, please. Exec, please keep those... Let's just keep depth accurately here, please. This is very important. Inside, in the middle of Scapa Flow, not the time when you want any mistakes to be made. So, It looks like if I go to external camera, I want to avoid going to external camera too much, but it looks like the waves are actually putting our scope above water from time to time. Okay, according to this view, no, not at all. Yeah, according to this view, we are completely okay. But if I go to observation scope here, sometimes we get out of water? No, guess not. Okay, very good. Alright, so let's see what the plan is. Basically, there are two British destroyers, one here and one here. In fact, if we zoom in a little bit more, I put a triangle where their positions were, just in case, because they're not going to be discernible on hydrophones. They're not making any noise whatsoever. There's no engines, because they're dead stopped. So I made sure to track their which direction they're facing. So we have this triangle, and also just to give myself a marker, a bigger marker, so that when we're zoomed out, we still know exactly where they are. They're right in the middle of these things. And I created a patrol pattern that would navigate us around, I think far enough around that we won't cause any problems. Now, when we actually want to sink some ships, what I think we want to do is do it from this side. Or maybe... it's really hard to say. What I want to have happen is, if there are any ships over here, I would like to sink one of these destroyers at the same time as I'm sinking these two. Because we can fire, you know, in some kind of insane scenario, it seems like maybe possible that we could fire maybe 3 torpedoes at one target, or 2 torpedoes at one target, 2 torpedoes at another, or 3 in 1, whatever. If we have like a Royal Oak, we will be launching 3 torpedoes at that, no questions asked. And I think 3 torpedoes is enough to sink a battleship, but it might even be worth putting the 4th torpedo on it. However, we will have a stern torpedo available for us, and it would be nice, really nice, if we could use one of those stern torpedoes to knock out the destroyer. Because I don't need to tell you, it's quite obvious that we don't really have much depth to work with here. We're probably on the better side of 20 meters, maybe 25 meters of depth under keel. So at this point, I mean, that's total depth, so probably at already 12 meters. I'd say that we'd be lucky if we could get another 6-7 meters out of the water before we basically have enough depth probably to put ourselves underneath a destroyer, but only just barely without being rammed. So, and that's not going to help you with depth charges, so we'll have to be very careful. Alright, well, that being said, I guess what's going to happen next is I'm going to go to time compression. Okay, well, there's a bunch of radio messages you missed if you didn't watch the last episode, but none of them were important. Let's just check this one. We're again getting this repeat message, no shipping sighted off Lola Bay. Yeah, but I think now is about the right time for us to go to time compression. I'll probably use my observation scope sparingly, but it will be nice to know exactly where our destroyer friends. There's one, and I have already identified them. Sadly, it's not continuing my identification as V and W are destroyers. So we'll go ahead and again identify them in this manner. It's going to be harder to see on my observation scope, but if I zoomed in with my attack scope, or really the way I was identifying these was with my Uzo, which has the same max magnification as the attack scope. And that's how I was able to discern that these are V&W. It was a close call between the V&W and the Tribal, because they both have the double smokestack, which I was looking at. But in the end, the smokestacks are actually slightly different. Is it here? Where is it? I thought it was like... Okay, where are you? No, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So this is also a V&W. Very good. Lock on. Check. Very good. So now we have 2 V&W destroyers, and that's it. Now I was keeping this course plot, which was heading directly at the destroyer. I was keeping it like that just because I wanted to keep my heading directly on with that destroyer while we were above water to minimize my profile. We no longer need to do that, so we're just going to try to skirt through what may end up being extremely shallow water. And as long as we're going really slow, I'm hoping that, one, we won't do any damage to ourselves if we scrape, and two, we won't cause enough noise so that these destroyers, who are just standing still, hopefully they won't notice us. In fact, I'm going to modify this a bit. Let's take this a little bit further away to really hedge our bets here. Running into the ground, not fatal. Attracting the destroyer, more likely to be fatal. So probably not anything we can do to come back from that. Yeah, let's do this. Let's make this even more extreme. And this one is just useless to me. Again, so we'll just do something like this. And you can see that it's going to take us 2 hours to go 7 kilometers because we're just inching along below the waves. Now, in order to help us stay undetected, I will lower my observation scope. We aren't going to have any hydrophone detections for these unless their engines start up, but the good news is, if they do detect us, their engines will start and we'll get hydrophone contacts immediately. And that's the point when I will bring you back. So, it almost scared me to death. Try to keep monitoring these, though. So we know, it looks like we have one patrolling the southern entrance to the harbor, and at least one. My experience, I've actually been through this area on a different playthrough, and I know that there's probably 2 or 3 patrol craft in this area. I guess at least that was in vanilla Silent Hunter 3, so that's probably where they expect you to go through in vanilla. But as far as I know, the vanilla, this was actually closed. You weren't able to push through the eastern sounds, which we just did. Okay, enough talk. I will cut this video away, and this is all about the action. The last one was about stealth, but we've kind of showcased that enough. So I'll bring you back when something interesting is happening. Hopefully that's not like the destroyers have hurt us, but it's possible. I mean, hopefully another thing we have to keep our fingers crossed about is hopefully it's not a mine going off and killing us, but I don't think there's going to be mines in this area. I highly doubt it. So I'll see you back in a little bit. Welcome back. Please keep your voices down because we are so close to these destroyers. 2.5, 2, about 2. If I go up on the observation scope, which I just did, and it scared the crap out of me, you're gonna see what I mean. I keep trying to identify these, but look how close this destroyer is. It's really scary. I get really nervous even having my scope up, but that's the one that's 2.5 or so. This one is even closer. I'm like, have I passed it? No, I'll know. That thing is so close. So close. So what I have to remember is it is nighttime and we're just using a scope with almost no speed. I want to do this very quickly. I don't want to show anything, but you can see how impossible it would be to detect that at night. And there is a light in the distance, but don't worry, that's not something I'm seeing like only here. You can see it on the observation scope as well. Anyway, I want to drop my scope for obvious reasons, because I'm scared of any kind of detection. We certainly are, well, really in harm's way if anything happens. I mean, if there's any kind of reaction from these destroyers, if they spot us at all, we're just toast. So that's it. That was my brief update on the situation. I guess I can also mention that I'm tracking some hydrophone contacts. It looks like this guy's patrol route does something like this. He goes around like this. So he has a patrol route right in the middle, right in the entrance, the southern entrance, the main entrance to the harbor. There's also a patrol craft doing some kind of back and forth over here, which I can't really make out. I just know based on hydrophone contacts that he's there. We have hydrophone contacts in this area, so just outside. It looks like a patrol inside and a patrol just outside the southern entrance. On top of that, there's one patrolling down here, kind of like the eastern approach to the southern entrance, if you want to get a bit technical about it. I'm not worried about any of these, really. Basically, our retreat path is going to be, hopefully, somehow avoid these 2 destroyers, and I'm not sure how we're going to do that. We're going to put ourselves as close to the bottom as possible, and just hope that we run silently enough that we can't be detected. that may not be the case at all. I'm like looking at the situation here, and I'm not sure if it's worth launching a torpedo at anything less than, like a light cruiser at least or something. Because you make this huge effort, you want to get some reward out of it. But we'll see. I haven't yet detected anything near Scapa flow. We'll see what happens as I get a little closer. So that's it. I'll just bring you back in when there's another update. Until then, this is all just the remnants of the stealthy approach. And as I've already mentioned, you've probably seen more than enough of that in the last video. So I'll see you back in a little bit, Warco. All hands, rig for silent running. We've rigged for silent running because it appears somehow the nearest destroyer has got a trace on us. Now, I can't risk being above water for very long, but I want to try to show you, if I can, those searchlights. And I'm going to try to show you a little bit better in a second, but I'm going to have to cheat and use the external camera. Unfortunately, it's harder for me to show you now that they've gone active, and I'm not entirely sure why. Excuse me real fast. So please, let's hope this is good, facing in a direction which is not compromising information I don't know yet. Let me just try to scroll over to this guy, because I should show you another thing in a second, but... Aha, there it is. So there is the destroyer, which is stationary, and now I have to show you other good news. Well, sarcastically, I remark. We have a destroyer bearing and closing in fast. His hydrophone jumping is, it's just closing in very fast. In fact, I want my hydrophone operator to just monitor him. Increasing speed, closing, and his jumps are very quick. If we wanted to measure, let's say it's been, let's just start our stopwatch, in fact. Okay, so at 5 seconds, he's here, or 6 maybe we'll say. And it won't take long for him to be... So let's just go for maybe 30 seconds. Can we get any kind of range on 30 seconds? No, we need to go at least a minute to get a good range on him. But he's flying. I'm guessing mid-20s to 30s in the knots. Now, how this happened, I don't know. We've been going slow. I haven't been rigged for silent running, but we've been going all ahead slow the entire time. I think what happened is we somehow breached within like a mile of this ship, and that like set off some kind of weird trigger. So this 1.6 is a mile, 1.61 kilometers per mile. Maybe it was 1.5 kilometers is the trigger. I don't know exactly, but let's mark the spot because we've gone. So he's covered 0.5, let's say. Looks to be slightly less than 0.5 in 1 minute. He is flying. This only says 15 knots. I think that's highly inaccurate. I think our estimate here wasn't good enough. The good news is his path has taken him clearly to our stern, much behind our stern. So whatever reading they had, it was obviously on us over here. Although we do have other readings of ships. Let's go to hydrophones and see what we're listening to. Oh yeah, it's very clear. And it's fading. It's fading aft quickly. Some weird like rattling interference in it.
Kriegsschiff auf 224 entfernt sich. Kriegsschiff auf 221 entfernt sich.
So that's what we're detecting, but I think, as I said, I think we're going to be clear. I think we're going to make it out of here. We can even kind of edge this, since I'm sure we weren't detected before, like 1.7 or whatever, and this is further proof.
Entfernt sich.
While he continues to jabber on, we'll actually have him go back to sweep. Oh, wow. Actually, this guy's really close. I will monitor him. We can monitor him ourselves. 221. Back to this. Yeah, his last known hydrophone contact was moving away. That is a really good sign. And, I mean, he still came really close. He's within, this is 1,500 yards. 750. Sorry, meters. 1.5 kilometers. I think it's kilometers, right? No, wait. Are these set for... Forget that. This might be done in yards. I can't remember. Well, you know, you just compensate. It's like 1.06 meters per yard or something like that. I mean, yards per meter. Okay, he's about headed into our wash. I just want to dive down very quick. So right now we shouldn't have cavitation. We should be, for silent running, I'd imagine we would keep the engines at 500 or 50 RPM. It doesn't look like that's the case here. It looks like, well, I think you can't run the engine slow enough to avoid cavitation in this game, just a graphical thing. But we might be, that's, the propellers are still moving. Whoa, did you hear that? Well, we didn't hear that, but that's definitely a star shell. You can see the illumination. Our captain knows nothing about this, so I'm going to pretend it never happened, but very cool that you can, I mean, if we did this, we'll probably see above us somewhere. Star shell just keeps firing. There it is. They're definitely interested in knowing where we are. Let me return this to its stored location. But it looks like that destroyer has actually drifted further away from us. Its search is not in the correct area. That's where they must have located us. And that makes sense because our circle certainly had to intersect somewhere around here. And when I noticed the spotlights, we probably came... Uh-oh. So could it be that they're drawing in I think this patrol might be this one, and we have this new sound contact here, which is probably the patrol which was previously south of the entrance to Scapa Flow. So I think that they're just bringing all ships towards us, which is going to present a bit of a challenge, but I think we can speed forward a little bit here. Okay, that's really close. Let's go back to hydrophone. No. Let's see. What do you have for me? .203. I think we will elude them. That was a nail biter, though. And the biggest, best thing about this, the most important difference between us being, I mean, alive or dead, is that they haven't pinged us. If they ping us in this shallow of water, there's just nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. We could try to, I mean, at that point you probably would just gun for the surface and flank speed and evasive maneuvers and shoot for the eastern sounds. I've already run in that emergency plan in my head if we had some really catastrophic failure of the whole plan. Probably the best idea is well, you'd want to stay submerged for as long as possible, but if it comes down to depth charge runs, or if they're pinging you, you probably just bolt for the surface. That's a captain's decision that's made out of, one, the fact that we'd probably survive, we're more likely to survive if we're on the surface. Although the water's here is pretty shallow, you might be able to swim from the bottom. Anyway, it looks like this sound contact has drifted away, so let's... Okay, another sound contact coming in. We have this one. Yeah, this guy's definitely closing. What's his general direction of travel, though? He looks like he's also heading to the same rear area. I think we're doing okay. I did change these guys right before I got back on with the alert to go to silent running. Well, the stresses of being a U-boat captain. Radio message, well, that's not incredibly useful to us right now. I'll record it because I think we're stuck in a loop there. Yeah, they're definitely bringing this destroyer in as well. However, like I said, his direction is also to our tail. I think we have avoided this. Let's take a quick peek. The star shell usually lasts about 5 minutes. I think that's the normal amount. Oh, we definitely still have one. They have searchlights. That's probably the destroyer which is looking for us. And it is definitely looking... Oh, there goes another star shell. That scared the crap out of me. I thought we were being shot at. And there's the other destroyer. They're definitely focusing in the wrong area, so we've eluded them. Well, let's not push our luck. Let's be thankful that so far things have worked in our favor. And let's push further into the harbor. We're getting close enough that maybe in another 10 minutes or so, we should be able to see what, if anything, is waiting for us. Hopefully something juicy enough that it's worth all this trouble. Another sound contact. This one, it looks like this patrol has come up, but can't advance any further thanks to the block ships or the island or whatever. Okay, but this ship is closing still. Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that. He's really stuck over there, and the ship's coming in. Distance probably over 5 kilometers. Okay. Up observation scope. You can clearly see that they're scanning that direction. He's scanning completely the wrong direction. It's heading towards us. Can't tell. Better to drift below for a moment. They're too active still for us to really... Yeah, this is the sound contact. We actually saw him. Or her. Things are too active for us to get a good look at Scapa float quite yet, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer. Ooh. Okay, he circled really close, but it was just it was nothing. Okay, so this guy's now in right next to the other destroyers, right between them. This contact is held up here. This guy's on the land. He's on the land. He's on land. So it looks like we have 4 external escorts or destroyers or patrols who aren't able to enter the inside harbor. That might be saving us. But there's still 2 that are active right here, and of course we have the 2 on the surface which aren't moving. Maybe they're... I think we can abstract it that they're in the port for repairs, possibly engine trouble. So that's kind of interesting. We can kind of, considering they haven't moved, I'm going to pretend that maybe they can't move. I mean, not pretend, but just kind of abstract that if they don't ever move, that's the reason why is engine trouble or, some reason that would cause this. And maybe, actually, as captain, I'm starting to believe it in-game, that maybe we can launch torpedoes without these guys being able to react in any kind of mobile fashion. Probably their guns will be available to them because their searchlights were. But it doesn't look like they have the capability to move. So we'll take that under consideration. For now, let's take another peek at what's going on because we continue to get further and further away. Okay, they have 2 star shells and they're definitely not looking our way. Lock on to this guy. We have this guy. We have this guy. So what is that? There's 3 of them, right? Yep, we got them all. Okay, cool. Well, while they're looking, I'm going to risk it. Let's see what's available for us in the port. Okay, the tree lines, the hills right to the west of it. Now we're starting to see stuff. Oh, I see a destroyer of some kind. And a big old ship. What's this? Troop transport. Destroyer, troop transport. Is that a ship? It is. Oh, it's a tanker. Okay. Okay, 3 things. Let's just make sure we're not being spotted by searchlights on this side before we dip down. Wait. They've turned off their searchlights. Oh, that bird scared me. Huh. They really don't know where we are. Well, down scope anyway. No reason to chance it. Do we get... Oh, we got him. We got him. We got it. The 3 of them. Okay, good. So now all we need to do is line up a shot at these 3. What do you think? 1 for the destroyer. If it's stationary, that's good. Probably 2 for the troop transport. Maybe 1 for the tanker. The nose-on shot, that's going to be extremely difficult. Okay, actually, I think what I'm going to do here is just put a brief cut in the video. I need to figure out how to line up these shots. I actually want to spend a little bit of time and, map out on my chart all the locations of these guys. And I want to kind of think about the best firing solution. I might do this a bit on pause, which is... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do it on pause. So it's 21:05. We're still pretty early into the evening. And I'll come back when I have a better idea about what to do. But at least for now, the first risk of death has been averted. And we have some time to think about what kind of attack we want to undergo. So I'll see you back in a little bit. All right, down, observation scope. Up, attack scope. I think it's time for us to launch our assault. I'll briefly explain what's going to happen, or what I intend to happen. Although, we're riding on some pretty thin margins here, I have to say. I'm going to be very ambitious. I'm going to attempt to kill 3 ships in a single... Well, it's not like a single salvo in the way you'd think of it from a ship's guns, but I'm going to launch 4 torpedoes, 3 forward, 1 aft, and hopefully sink 3 ships. One will be designated with this. I can't tell what it is. In fact, using the attack periscope is going to help a lot. So maybe I'll be able to identify this destroyer, but it doesn't matter. It should be the first one sunk. 2 torpedoes will go to the troop transport, and the 1 aft torpedo is going to be spent hopefully destroying this V&W class destroyer. I'm still relying on the fact that it's not going to be able to move, so my targeting... Okay, so right now we have 3 kilometers to this ship, 3.1 to that, and about 2 to that. So I don't know what my time to target is. I can actually get that if I go... I'm trying to do this without... Okay, so this is going to be helpful for identifying... Whoops. They should be here. Perfect. Okay, it's got... I'm just not going to be able to tell what that is. I just can't tell. It doesn't matter. It's going to sink. That's the important thing. So I'm not even going to try to mark it. I'll just go very shallow on the depth of the torpedo to make sure we don't go under keel. We won't be setting for magnetic. Anyway, what's the point? Oh, I want to make sure that we get our gyroscope set. Okay, so this one is going to be range of automatic 3000. Speed is 0. Everything is correct. We'll make the depth of the torpedo 2. Fast, impact. Okay, next one. These are going to attack the merchant ship, the troop transport, so I'll leave them as is. I'll set this to fast and impact. This is going to be my spare. And the rear one is also going to be targeting a destroyer, so we're going to make the depth very low. Impact, fast. In fact, we could probably go impact medium. No, we're going to launch the first torpedo. The first torpedo could be medium, if anything. And this one's going to be launched, well, obviously, at the rear torpedo, the rear one. But let's see what this claims. 204 for time of impact. Okay, so basically it's about 40 seconds per kilometer, which means we're going to have like 30 seconds of time to spare between, because I cannot open, I don't know how, I've tried, opening all the torpedo bays at the same time. Sometimes I'm able to get 1 and 2 open at the same time, but every time I touch the back, the 5th one, it does not open. So let me just demonstrate real fast. We can go, let's go open torpedoes. Okay, now let me just see what our front looks like. You can see that only 3 is open. So as soon as I switch, I hit Y to switch to my next torpedo. I could open 4 now, but 3 is shutting. So basically what's happening is I can only open 1 torpedo at a time. I was able to get 2 open one time without selecting salvo, but basically it doesn't matter. I'm going to have to open each torpedo tube after I fire the previous one, which is going to add quite a bit of latency to the just a bit of a delay between firings. But that's okay. So the plan, as I kind of already mentioned, if I can get off all 3 of these torpedoes, then I'm feeling good. And then we launch our 1 rear last, which also gives us the best angle. So that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to wait any longer. We're just going to go ahead and do it. So we'll probably take this one right at the front of the ship. Right, that should kill it. I think a single hit will kill. Lock this. Alright everyone, here we go. Close. Okay, next one, open torpedo bay. I don't know, I think this is going to be fine. Close. At 40 seconds, we have to make sure we're launching stern. Okay, open torpedo bay. Shit, I just launched 2 in the wrong direction. I launched 2 at the destroyer. That's right, mistakes were made, but we can do this still. I need to spin. Open torpedo bay 5. I need to get this guy in case he reacts. Give me 157. Come on this open. Make sure that this is low setting. It is. Los. Okay, go back to 4. We need to put another torpedo on the troop transport. Time is critical and I messed it up, so we need to get the rear one. Open. Los. Okay, down scope. And just because I like you guys, we're going to monitor these torpedoes. So we have 2 headed towards that destroyer. He's a goner. We have 1 over here. I can't see the other one. It's probably still in line. I think that's it right there. And we have 1 heading over here. So this one's about this distance away. And this one is about... Yeah, this is perfect. I think this one's going to hit a little bit after the first 2. But okay, let's see what's going on. Unfortunately, that means I wasn't able to target the tanker, but I wasn't really thinking about targeting the tanker anymore. It was no longer in my attack plan. Now, I want to actually get my crews. We're actually going to try to reload a torpedo if possible. So, get everyone we can loading a torpedo as fast as possible. Okay, good enough. Everyone in there. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's see what happens with our torpedo launches. Wow, look at them. Oh, wow, this is cool. They're right on top of each other. You can see that here's 1 and here's 2. That's going to destroy that destroyer, which, just for our own amusement, actually, this is not a destroyer I recognize. This is probably like an A and B or a C and D or something like that. Because it's not one that I recognize. It has a symmetric smokestack, so it's not V and W. But it's not tribal because it doesn't have the dual turret guns. And this troop transport actually has some armament to it. Okay, well, let's see how the impacts go. We know that we're expecting impact on the... Okay, I need to make sure that we're going to set our course due east.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Neuer Kurs. Acht.
Very good. Okay, they've seen it. But will they react in time? He's not moving. Oh, perfect. That guy's a goner. Okay. Next. Whoa. Alright, I gotta make sure we don't go crazy with this camera. It is fun, but I don't want to cheat too much. Okay. Now we got 1 impact. We're expecting another one here. Oh, that looks good. This should be the next impact.
Torpedo Treffer.
Another. We got 2 hits on that destroyer. Just in time for an impact here. Perfect. Oh, another good one. Okay, let's swing back around. Oh yeah, stuff is gonna happen. That's why we're moving. No. Unrig from southern running.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Ein Drittelfahrt voraus.
Torpedo Treffer.
We got a hit. Perfect. We need 1 more. Where's the last one? Where's... We had 2. Oh my, she looks like she's immediately taken on water. Wait, how many... Oh, the next one should be a long time in coming. Look at that guy, he's such a straggler. Because I forgot, I launched the first one in sequence with these guys, and then I had to completely go back to the fourth one. Oh yeah, look at him sneak along. Wow, this is glorious. This is just glorious. And we're gonna have hell to pay in a second. Perfect. Oh, perfect. We did it. Alright, XO. Let's get our people out of here now. Observation scope up. Attack scope down. If you can give me one more torpedo, that's all I'd want. Okay, let's see what we're dealing with here. They should be to our... I don't see anything. Any hydrophone contacts? Yes, but they're still far away. Because we could always try to go back and sink that tanker as well. We've kind of cleared a little alley for ourselves here. This guy can no longer detect us. Yeah, they're going to make their way over here, though. So I need to get out of here very quickly. Whoop. What was that? Oh, I think that's the explosions. Well, let's go back and look. Come on. Oh, man. Beautiful. Oh, look at him sink. Yeah, he's actually already on the bottom. We didn't identify this one yet. I'll go back and identify this. But let's take a look at this ship as well. Well, let's not take a look at her because I don't want to know anything more about her fate. Let's just rely on what we can see. So, give me nearest sound contact.
Kriegsschiff kommt näher auf 1, 2, 4.
4. We're right there. He's way off. Okay, let's take a look at this ship then. She's on fire. That's a nice fire we have going. 124.
Kriegsschiff auf 1, 2, 5 kommt näher.
Medium speed. Okay, we got her. Closing. Let's see what... She went to 125, which means she might be headed aft of us, which is perfect, which is what I was hoping, that we would just get out of here very quick. We'll rig for silent running soon. I wanted to see if we could sneak a torpedo in. I know that's really ambitious. Weapons officer, go help. Use it towards me. Just get this guy to assist with the weapons officer, just for the time being.
Kriegsschiff auf 1, 2, 6 kommt näher.
I don't see him. Yep, now we have to somehow safely extricate ourselves from here. Let's see what's going on. Looks like he's headed... Oh my gosh, very close to us though. It'll begin circling, I imagine. Not that they would know exactly where I am. I don't know how... I guess if you knew a shot happened here and a shot happened here, yeah. Your search radius has probably only got to be this. Unless we had launched slow torpedoes from really far away, that would have been pretty smart. Launching slow torpedoes way over here. Just gotten the ship's directions, their exact... Like, just launched slow... That would have been so smart. I didn't think about doing that. We could have just pulled ourselves way back here, lobbed some really slow torpedoes. That you can, I think they can go up to 10 kilometers. Of course, we can't... There's no torpedoes available, so we can't actually select one and find out, but... Yeah, I think this ship is going to fade aft of us. I don't see him. I see a bunch of seagulls. Okay, well, let's quickly turn back and see how our prey is doing.
Kriegsschiff auf 1, 2,
Still
9, kommt
burning,
näher.
but she's not going down immediately. I think the stern is pretty low in the water, though. The bow might be... yeah, she might be rising in the bow. That would be good. 27-ish. Still no sign of this destroyer. Up a little bit more.
Kriegsschiff auf 1, 3,
It's
0, kommt
really good
näher.
news that she's fading, though, to aft. Okay, well... nothing to do but bite our nails. Wait and see what happens.
Kriegsschiff auf 1, 3, 1, kommt näher.
How much more time do you guys need? 2 more minutes. I think we can hold out that long. We can have one more torpedo. Just wait over off in the same area they looked before. And then we can come back in and finish off that troop transport if we absolutely have to. In fact, we might even just launch... oh, we can't launch from the surface. We need to destroy this. But hey, if we have a lot of time, we can load both torpedoes. We can launch maybe one torpedo this way, one torpedo this way.
Auf 1, 3, 2, kommt näher.
Okay, let's see if this guy's close yet. He's still not in visual. I'm seeing nothing. Wait, that,
Kriegsschiff auf
no.
1, 3, 3, kommt näher.
What is the range? Oh yeah, he's still 5 kilometers out. Probably when he gets to a little bit closer, maybe around 3 kilometers, we'll probably have to stop and break for silent running. Let's just wait a little bit longer. He does not look like he's going the right way, though. Which is very good news for us. Okay, let's start heading. Give me 30 degrees
Jawohl, Herr
starboard.
Kaloin. Neuer Kurs 1, 1, 8.
Which is also going to help us continue to detect him, because, yeah. Okay, let's go all head slow, though.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Auf 1, 3, 3, kommt näher.
We've probably made all the progress we can away from him. Now we just have to...
Kriegsschiff
Stay slow
auf
enough.
1,
We
2,
have one.
4, kommt näher.
8 seconds, I'll wait.
Kriegsschiff auf 1, 1, 8, kommt näher.
Break for silent runway.
Gleichfahrt.
Excellent. Okay, well we have something. We're not fighting completely defenseless.
Kriegsschiff auf 1, 1, 3, kommt näher.
I don't see this guy. Oh, I do see him.
Kriegsschiff auf 1, 1,
Yep,
2,
there is a
kommt
tilt to
näher.
his ship, which means that he's not coming directly at us, which is good. And that ship looks lower in the stern than it did before, and higher in the bow. Okay, well,
Kriegsschiff auf 1, 1, 3, kommt näher.
drop scope. We go by ears from now on. Give us another 10 degrees. Make our bearing 131. 130 is fine. Whoops. Oh, that's his bearing, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely moving. He's missed us entirely. Yeah, they're probably going to send another ship in. Okay, so we can probably speed this up a little bit. Let's just see how our crew are doing. They're doing okay. You guys are doing okay. Let's see how far away this guy is, because if we have the possibility of starting to reload the second torpedo,
Kriegsschiff
3
auf
kilometers.
1, 4,
I don't think it's worth it.
gleichbleibend.
People are going to be tired after this, and that's just what we're going to have to accept.
Kriegsschiff auf 142. Entfernung gleichbleibend.
Good, constant distance. So he's missed us entirely. That was more or less where we were, but he's missed us.
Entfernung gleichbleibend.
Well, this episode has gone on pretty long. I think what we can do at this point is let's just take another quick look at our...
Entfernung gleichbleibend.
So, not that stuff, this. Let's take a look at this ship.
Kriegsschiff auf
Oh, it's
147.
going down.
Entfernung gleichbleibend.
Look at that. Oh, it had tanks on it. Oh, no, these are its guns. I thought this was the tank
Kriegsschiff
body.
auf 148.
Anyway,
Entfernung gleichbleibend.
it looks pretty low in the water. However, is it being buoyed up by the... What, the deuce?
Kriegsschiff
Ah,
auf
shit.
150.
I just ruined
Entfernung gleichbleibend.
out of game information. There's apparently a submarine net there, but let's see. Is it being buoyed up by the bottom? Not yet, so it can sink a little further. Bother. Okay, so our captain cannot know about that submarine net. Actually, how the hell did our torpedoes hit?
Auf 153. Entfernung gleichbleibend.
Jeez, it's just... I guess it doesn't register the top part. Huh.
Kriegsschiff auf 155. Entfernung gleichbleibend.
And the fire. I think this ship's going to go down. Well, this is our torpedo attack, so stay tuned for part 3.
157. Entfernung gleichbleibend.
Part 3 of the Scapa Flow will be our daring escape. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode. And we'll take ourselves out silently.
Kriegsschiff auf 160. Entfernung gleichbleibend.